Welcome to Mobile Legends!
Good day, Busters! Welcome to another hero tutorial, and now we will be focusing on this underrated one-eyed mage, Cyclops. He is not part of the meta since a lot of players tend to use mages with good mobility, but Cyclops doesn't have a dash skill to get away from danger. That is why I recommend you use either Flicker or Purify depending if the enemy has a lot of crowd control skills, which will prevent you from unleashing your skills. Flicker can also be used to chase the enemies, so think carefully at the start of the game if there are multiple enemies that can dash away from your skills.
Never seen someone handsome with one eye.
This is my emblem setup for this hero. Always use the mage emblem as this will bring out the strength of Cyclops way better than using the support talent emblem. Now you have two choices. Either use the mystery shop or magic worship depending on your gameplay along with your team composition. Since we'd like to finish it early, I use the first talent in order to farm my items faster and go pressure the enemies early in order to let my hyper carry dominate immediately. The second talent works great too since his second skill deals an insane amount of damage, so pick wisely depending on the situation.
Yes, Cyclops is an astronomer.
Launch attack! Turtle resurrecting soon.
Now let's talk about his skills. Skill 1 or Stardust Shock releases 2 shock waves in front of the hero, each dealing damage to the enemies. This is quite slow and can be evaded by most heroes even without a dash skill, so aim properly. His second skill, Planet's Attack, is his main damaging skill which can also be used to harass the enemies from the start. This will release 5 spheres that are circling around Cyclops and will automatically attack enemies close to him, but will preferably hit enemy heroes. It also gives a 30% movement speed which will decay at 2 seconds, so this is his only skill that can somehow be used to escape dangerous situations, so be careful of the cooldown as it is quite long. The damage will decay if the same target is hit multiple times, but it is still powerful, so don't be afraid to spam this skill in team fights. His ultimate called Star Power Lockdown is a tracking skill that guarantees a single high damage hit to the enemy. Finally, one of his skills will always hit no matter how far the enemy goes, right? Well, yes, but if you have immunity skills like Ling, Throw, and Lancelot, then I regret to inform you that this will miss yet again. Okay, so he is not looking like the best hero to use in ranked games, but trust me, there's more to him than his slow first skill or the second skill with the blue balls that has its own targeting system, or his ultimate which is quite slow, but trust me, that ultimate move hurts when you don't have an immunity skill. Oh, and also his last skill can immobilize for 1 to 2 seconds depending on how far the enemy went away from your ultimate, so yeah, I think that sheds some hope in this hero. Now, for his passive, Starlit Hourglass, which reduces the cooldown of all his skills by 0.5 seconds whenever his skills hit enemies, whether minions, jungles, or heroes. Utilize his amazing passive in order to release Cyclops blue balls repeatedly at the enemies. Since his first skill is 2 shockwaves, then it's like getting a -1 second, while second skill is 5 spheres, so 2.5 second reduction to all your skills. Couple that with a cooldown build and you got yourself an annoying blue ball spanning one-eyed mage. Yeah, I should have started with this passive to lighten the mood. Oof, my bad. Now for my build. These are my choices depending on the enemies. I like the cooldown build as this will maximize his passive when he has 40% cooldown, so get that enchanted talisman, cooldown boots, and necklace of Durance or lightning truncheon. It is important that you get a concentrated energy and an item that can add mana regen as his skills consume a lot more than you think. That is why I have the enchanted talisman which can be substituted with a calamity reaper if you are the carry of your team, plus the blue buff as well. If you'd like to know how to use hyper carry Cyclops in ranked games, then stay tuned for future videos and I'll show you the ways on how to be a Cyclops master.
Killing spree. Thank you. Slain the turtle. Request your team destroyed a turtle.
Look at that damage! Just one whole combo is enough to send Roger running back. And I still don't have any of my core items, so that is some insane damage. I couldn't finish him off because I was cautious that his tank or the enemy Selena might back him up and then gank me instead. Like I said, I still don't have my core item and that is the concentrated energy. Now that I got my concentrated energy, this is the time that Cyclops can unleash his potentials in the early to mid game. What makes him frightening when he gets his third item is the huge magic lifesteal that he gets from this item, which he can use to solo pressure or even kill all by himself even at an early phase. I mean, look at the time, it's only 7 minutes and I am already self-sustaining, which is the part that I like the most when I use this mage. See that damage to the tank? If only I used my ultimate before using my other two skills, then I would have killed the tank. But I was reserving it for Roger since it was a 2 versus 1 situation, but Roger probably saw that I already have my core items, so it was a smart move for the both of them. I'll give them that.
Request backup. Turtle resurrecting soon. Attack the turtle. Request backup. Enemy has slain the turtle. Enemy has been slain. Double kill. Push first. Mega kill. Shut down. Request backup. Your team destroyed a turret.
Brody, who was my teammate Louis, was generous enough to give me the blue buff of the enemy. I forgot to mention this, but Cyclops with a blue buff is one of the most feared scenarios, especially when he's the hyper carry of the team. The added mana regen plus the additional 10% cooldown is a deadly combo for this one-eyed mage who likes spamming his blue Christmas balls.
Okay.
Oh, and if you haven't noticed, me, Louie, and Cookie Monster are all on the same squad, so shout out to my squad leader for his generous offer.
Ult is not ready. Attack the Lord. Lord resurrecting soon. Okay.
Now that I have my necklace of Durance, if you add up the cooldown of all my equipment, then it should equal to about 35%, and to maximize that, I get the added 5% cooldown from my mage emblem setup. So I should be able to spam my skills as long as I have enough mana, and that's where the blue buff comes in. But since I am playing a mage slash support this time, I won't rely on the blue buff, that's why I have the enchanted talisman for that. Another blue buff, and given that we are entering the late game, this is pretty much GG for the enemy team if they try to come at me one by one. So don't make that mistake, busters. That's why hit that like and subscribe button so more players will know how to use and deal with Cyclops in the future. After everything I said about having a blue buff, I think this is the end for me. Nope. Oh no, here comes another one. No again. Okay, this time I have low HP and there's a Selena and Akai. No, not this time. I told you don't come at me one by one or else all of Cyclops' balls will be all over you. Oof. That was quite fast. Well, I suppose it was supposed to be fast since our team composition is for the early game. And yes, we did make a video about that game style, so if you want to keep on having fast-paced games, then do visit our previous video in order to master the craft of early gameplays.